me karakia tātai. I runga I te ingo ala te tino ata whai te tino arohano. Ko ngā whakamuimiti me ngā mihi katoa māla, te riki o ngā au katoa. Te tino ata whai te tino arohano. Ko te rangatira anake e te kai whakawā nui rawa o te rā utu o te rā o te aranga. Ko koe anake e tā mātau e karakia nei, ko koe anake e tā mātau e tono awhina nei. Ara tohu mai ki te ara tika, te aro o te hunga e hoatu e koe tau arohano, e hara I te hunga e pārore ke o rātau whakaro, me te hunga e kōtiti ke. Āmene.
In the heart of Tāmaki Makaurau lies Awataha Marae, a place where culture and faith meet. Today, we walk alongside Brother Paetawa, a Māori-Muslim whose journey weaves together whakapapa and Islam.
Kia ora. Ko te me tuatahi e mihi tēnei kia tātou. Kia tātou ko huhu mai nei I tēnei rā, e mātakitaki mai I tēnei rā, ki tēnei whakāturanga e pāna ki tō tātou nei hāhi. Nō reira, nau mai hara mai whakatau. Whakatau mai nei I runga I te karanga o Ngāti Awataha, I runga I te karanga o tō tātou nei kaihanga, la Azerbaijan. Nō reira, mihi tonu ki a koe e te rangatira, nau e hara mai te kaupapa ke wainia mātou I tēnei rā, tino hariko. Tino hariko mātou ki te tūtaki, ki te whakawhiti nā kōrero o pāna ki tēnei kaupapa tino whakahirehira mō tātou katoa te iwi Māori, tātou katoa nā iwi katoa o te ao. Anō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora and welcome. It's important that we address the cultural issues this morning, and we greet each other in our language, language of our country, and in the customs of our people. Welcome to all the ancestry that you bring with you, your South African heritage, your South African ancestors and our Māori ancestors. Today we're one people. Kia ora everybody, my name's Anthony Paetawa Wilson. I am the CEO of Awataha Marae, but also in some ways you could call me the village chief or the chief here. My father was the chief, and so by virtue of his mana, I'm the little chief, if you want to call it that, but spearheading the organisation and spearheading the development here at our marae.
Every journey starts somewhere, and for many Māori who embrace Islam, it begins with searching for something deeper.
At any time, you can return back to that natural fitra, is what we call it, that natural inclination that we're all born with. That's why we always say it's not a conversion, but it is definitely a reversion back to your natural fitra and your natural inclination to the oneness of Allah and the oneness of God. If you could maybe just share with us your revert story.
If I look back at our personal journey, we've always been in the pursuit of connection. How we first came into Islam was through our son. And if you understand who my son was, not is, was. My son was a very violent man and well known for it, well known amongst his peers and his friends and his not friends. So when I got a phone call and he said to me, "Dad, I want you to come around. I need you to meet some people." See, that language to anyone else would be, "Oh, it's okay, no problem." But in his world, where he was from, that could mean there were people waiting with shotguns It could mean a number of different things, not so good things. So anyway, I go and then I walk in the door and there's two of our Muslim brothers sitting there. And I look at them and then I look at him and I said, no, because he had been talking to me about Islam, but I kind of thought, well, you know, yeah, that's nice. So anyway, there's two of our brothers sitting there and he said, Dad, I thought I'd want you to come around because I'm going to give Shahada. And I looked at him and I looked at it and I went, and I understood what he meant. He was about to submit his will to Allah. And for me to see that response in him, knowing who he has become over the years and his track record of ultimate violence and etc., that just blew me away. In fact, it blew me away to the point where I cried. I cried because I in that moment, I kind of understood what it meant for him to submit his will. And in those instants that passed, you know, gone. And so I was there stunned and ended up becoming, those two brothers becoming some of our best friends in Islam. Maybe 2 weeks after that, I gave Shahada. 2 weeks later, my wife gave Shahada. And then my boy, my youngest boy. A few months after that, my other son gave Shahada. And then my mother. When anyone asks me about my Islamic journey, I always acknowledge that as being the visible start point, not potentially the start point, but the visible. And so I always take my hat off to our brother who obviously was there to point the direction to Islam, Brother Farouk, and our brother Ayman, who was also there at the time.
As parents, you know, no matter what happens, we're always going to love our children. And we always want the best for them. But for your son to inspire you in a way that you would have never have thought, he's almost uplifted your life as well, mashallah, and the life of your family. And that's such an inspiring story. How has it shaped your family now? How has things been different, if anything?
Yeah, so my son ended up going to jail. And I desperately wanted to remain connected with him in regards to our faith. Because if ever there was a place where you needed to have faith, it's in those type of places. They can be very dark places. So here we have one of our own loved ones who has, you know, been incarcerated. I want to stay connected with him because in there he's made a commitment to his faith, to Allah, to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I want him to continue that journey. This is as a father to a son. But how do you do that when everything in that system is designed for you not to be connected? And in particular with our Islamic faith, we encountered so many difficulties. One, first off, they took his Quran, they took his prayer beads, they took his prayer mat. They confiscated them. He was not allowed a place to pray. Even though the other Christian ones, they had their own little chapel thing, and he was allowed. They were all allowed to go and do whatever they want. They had a chaplain there, someone to go and talk to if they had issues. But for our Muslim, nothing, no support at all. I managed to write letters and got support from our NSIA brothers. We wrote some letters to the prison and asked if we could allow him to participate in Juma. Alhamdulillah, they agreed, and apparently it was the first time ever that it had ever happened. My other son, bumped into an old friend who used to go to kohanga reo with my son. He asked him, what is he doing? He said, I'm in charge of all the prisons in Aotearoa. My son come home, told me this. I said, you're the person I need to talk to. So I got a hold of him, and my son rang me. He said, Dad, what have you done? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I just had a visit from the head of our prison, come and knocked on my door and said, is your name? He said, yes. He didn't actually know how he should answer. It depends if I'm in trouble. Yeah. Am I the person? He goes, here's your Quran, here's your prayer beds, here's your prayer mat. Then he walked out. So my son rang me straight away and said to me, what did you do? You know, and I told him. You know, Allah uses whoever He wants, however He wants, to bring whoever He wants to Islam. And so in this case, He used our son to reach out, and then our son then touched the lives of others who were inside, etc., etc., etc. Doesn't matter your past. Doesn't matter who you were in a past life. What matters is what you do from that day forward, and then how you can transform your life, and then transform the view of how other people see you. This is why Islam's been important in our life, because it teaches us things to keep our good character. And let me just say, it's a work in progress. Yeah. It is definitely not a destination where you just arrive there and say, I'm all good now. Definitely not that. We have our moments, and but we try and make those moments further apart. Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed, Allah is the best of planners, and He guides whomsoever He wishes.
For Brother Paetawa, faith wasn't just something he found. It became something he lived, and with it came a responsibility to serve.
Just thought I'd let you know what happens every Sunday. This is our pātaka. Welcome to our pātaka. So our gates don't open until 10 o'clock in the morning, brother, but our line starts here at 8:30 in the morning,
42, 43, 44,
and
45 travelling over.
The car park is full of people, as you can see.
It goes all the way.
Yeah, the people waiting here since 8:30 in the morning. Then when the gates open, follow me. I'll show you what this is how we roll on our Sunday mornings here. So what you're seeing here is a collective of different families coming to support, to offer their volunteer time to help our community. And then also what you see here is the type of food that we give away every time that we're running pātaka. So it's not a lot, but it's what we can give. So the team start here probably around about 8 o'clock in the morning. Just we do all the packing in here, so we're winding down for today. But basically this is where all the stuff is packed. Kia ora everybody, kia ora, kia ora. That's our whānau. Yeah, there you go. We pack everything in here and then we distribute it out to our whānau. We've been doing this now, I think this is our 3rd year of operation. And we, alhamdulillah, we hope that we can keep doing it, because we know that there's a massive need for this sort of thing out in our community. We see it every day. We try not to be judgmental about who we give the kai away. If you turn up on our doorstep and you're asking for food, we're just going to give it. Yeah, we're just going to give it. we're just about finished for today, so but I can tell you now, this place was just crawling with people before. You couldn't even move in here. They come in and have something to eat. We provide breakfast for them. And the good thing about this, brother, it allows our community to come in here and feel good about supporting those who are less fortunate. So everyone you see here that's in the kitchen and helping out in the back there, we're all volunteers. We all do this because we care about our families, we care about our community, and we want to help out. So, you know, in the traditions of our Muslim faith, this is really our faith in action, you know, like trying to reach out to as many people as we can. Yeah. Our database, when we first started that initiative, we had maybe 60 people. We are now 3,000 people on our database that have come through and used our facilities, and we are supporting regular.
Opening the doors and feeding the people isn't only a community program. It's whakapapa in action. It's what the marae has always done. And for Brother Paetawa, that same spirit lives in the masjid. To uplift, to feed, to welcome, to care. That's where these two worlds meet.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, bro?
Oh, good. How are you?
Sorry to disturb you. We're just interviewing Brother Paetawa.
That's your place, bro.
So, Brother Paetawa, we're obviously standing in the beautiful NSIA hub, a place for our Muslim brothers to come, and we've got I think 5 salahs here, a beautiful Jummah on a Friday, led by Sheikh Ala. We've also got madrasa classes, again very similar to the marae, a place of representation, a place where, you know, people can attend and come and feel like they are part of something bigger. What has this meant for you, and how is this sort of related to what's happening on the marae versus here in the masjid? So much blessings on the grounds of this marae, mashallah.
Yeah, it's quite significant for us in many different ways. Even particular coming to the marae, for some of these, some of our brothers and sisters that are coming here, it's the first time they've ever been on the marae. And so what that means for us is that we've impacted the way that this masjid runs as a natural occurrence. So over the 3 or 4 years that the masjid has been here, we have had lots of different funeral for our Muslim whānau as well as our ones from the marae, and so we are able to cohabit the space, and we're able to cohabit our faiths. So like obviously not all of our people are Muslim, but we accommodate for their, if they have a faith they believe, then by all means you run the show like how you want to run it. But when it comes to us here, we run things differently. You know, I'm just looking outside at all our brothers that are sitting there at the table at the moment. You know, you have almost like a UN council sitting over there of different faces from different places. And I think the important thing of having the masjid on the marae, it allows Islam to grow, and Islam will become more accepted by more of our people.
The masjid and marae, they have this beautiful synergy between one another, and even though they operate independently somewhat, they're working towards the same goal and the same purpose. Can you touch on the Maori values, Islamic values, how those have sort of married up, and there is a coexistence between them, and again a beautiful synergy, but also a way that, you know, we can inspire maybe people outside of the fold of Islam, whether they're from a Maori background or whichever background, how it actually relates to a lot of what you're doing already.
Yeah, sure. So if I start you off with one of our core values, which is aroha ki te tangata, or love for our fellow man. Well, of course, this is one of the foundations of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and why it was important for Islam to be extended out into the world, so that we could practice our love for our fellow man. And nowhere more is that embodied here in a masjid, where the doors are open all the time. And, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, it doesn't matter if you've got money in your pocket, you will be accepted here. We may have our differences how we express it, but the foundation is the same. Manaakitanga, the care and welfare for other people, aroha ki te tangata, even kaitiakitanga. Kaitiakitanga is our care for our environment. And we are similarly aligned. We have many of our brothers that help in the gardens. We're growing food to put back into our pātaka here, or one of our other Māori brothers is spearheading the aquaponics gardens that we've got here. He's teamed up with our other heads of our gardens out here, our brother Muhammad, and they are the ones championing at the moment the kaitiakitanga, the preservation of our environment, the looking after our environment, but also providing food for our local community and that.
The marae and the masjid stand together, two homes with one purpose, and behind every value lies a history, a whakapapa that shaped who we are today.
Things a little bit different in an urban marae situation, where we have come from many other places, many other iwi. We have made Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau, our home. So unlike some of the other iwi marae, we're open for all different iwi, and in particular with my father's vision, his vision for the marae was that it would be open for all people, no matter where you're from, no matter whatever religion you are from, wherever you hail from, that you would be welcome here, and you would have a place to exchange your ideas, to exchange your vision for your people. He had a name for that. The name for that he coined was pakeaka. Pakeaka, pake is to cross. Aka are the vines. So what he was actually talking about was the crossing of the cultures. And when you have two different peoples or many different peoples coming in, often there is tension. People's coming together, a little bit of a tension in the middle, but out of the tension can come very positive aspects, where we get to appreciate where we're the same, rather than we're arguing about our points of difference. And I think that's where, in particular, my father's vision of pakeaka for this marae and for the people of this marae was where we would be able to welcome many different cultures into the space, and that we could have those exchanges where we come to appreciate and value one another, rather than always be saying how different we are, and then therefore the conflicts can arise from that. Obviously, a lot of our people may find that a little bit challenging, and understandably so, because as a people we have been pushed down. Our language has been taken, our land has been taken, our many other things that we had before the arrival of visitors. We had a whole social structure intact. Our culture was very strong, of course. With the incoming of different people, in particular with our settler government and the mainly English groups that were arriving in the early days, they started introducing language and also new ways of being and laws and many different things. The treaty was the kind of although it wasn't the first document, he whakaputanga was the Declaration of Independence was the first formal document where we as Māori said we are separate from the incoming people. We have our own mana, we have our own ways, culture, etc. We stand alone from those who are coming into the country, but welcome. So an acknowledgement that our mana motuhake, our self-determination, and our who we are as a people was paramount to the founding of this nation that we now call New Zealand, Aotearoa. We're now in 2025. Have we come far? In some ways we have, but we have a long journey ahead of us we can see, and we're striving to achieve that for future generations, our tamariki mokopuna, and what's going to be here for them in the future. So this is where marae are very important. You could say that this was destined, it was meant to be. I don't know, brother. I'm not going to make a judgment call on that one. But the fact that it is here, and the fact that we have now opened our doors to our immigrant whānau, and that it is a place to practice our faith. The call was put out there, obviously, and the call was responded to by our local people. And it also is an opportunity for our people as Māori to come to understand more about Islam and about what does being a Muslim mean. And we're reverts. I think this is our 4th year, and there have been many challenges along the way, brother. Challenges where the culture interfaces with our deen, with our hahi, our faith.
In the end, it all comes back to connection, to each other, to our ancestors, and to Allah.
We're more the same than we are different. Obviously we have different ways we express different things, we have different culture. The only issue here is that we haven't really established a Māori-Muslim identity. I think the foundations are the same, but the expressions are a little bit different, and I think that's why it's important to have a Māori-Muslim perspective where we can still not sacrifice the beliefs that we have as a people, as a culture, but we can promote those alongside of our Islamic beliefs. And I truly believe we're more the same than we are different.
Our stories are shaped by where we come from, by our whakapapa, our whānau, and the whenua beneath our feet. But faith gives us a place to stand together. Different paths, shared purpose. Each of us carrying our own chapter in a growing ummah. This is what unites us and what gives strength to every voice that says, I am Muslim.
Kia ora tātou, ko Anthony Paetawa Wilson taku ingoa, he Muslim ahau. My name's Anthony Paetawa Wilson, and I am Muslim.